بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. So last time we had started the discussion about anger and hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when a Sahaba came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, please give me some advice and make it brief. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him one word, La taghdab, do not become angry. So we mentioned as well that whenever a person commits sins, there are usually two kinds of motives or emotions that lie behind all the sins that we commit. Number one, it is anger, and number two, desire. So because of anger, there are many sins that we commit, and also because of desire, there are many sins that we commit. And anger is a natural emotion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us anger and made it part of our emotions, because when anger is utilized in the correct manner, then it is a means of defense for a person, his family, his honor. And when we have excessive anger, then it leads to takabbur, pride, you're thinking yourself to be better than others, hasad, jealousy, bughz, resentment. And also, when you have undue anger, then you end up violating the rights of people. So this is where we had come to. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave us the advice, do not become angry. When a person brings his anger under control and he does not express his anger or lets his anger go beyond the Sharia. My slave, he has controlled his anger, and I will also not deal with him with anger. So when we control our anger and don't deal with others, when we feel angry in an unjust manner, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also show mercy on us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also not deal with us with anger. In a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that on the day of Qiyamah, a person will be brought before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask the angels that, tell me what good deed this person has in his account. So the angels will say that, Ya Allah, this person, he doesn't have many good deeds in his account. And he did not read too many nawafil, non-obligatory salah, nor did he do the extra or pray a lot. However, this person, he had one very special virtue. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything, but Allah wants the angels to tell him regarding this. So he says, the angels will say that he had one special virtue. And this virtue was that if anyone hurts him or causes him harm, then he used to forgive the person. So whenever someone would hurt him or cause him harm, then he would forgive the person. Similarly, if someone owed money to him and told him that I don't have the means to pay back the money at the due date, then this person would tell his servants that because this person cannot afford to pay the loan, so forgo the loan and forgive him. So he would give up his right of receiving his loan back. So two things, whenever someone would harm him or hurt him, he would forgive him. And when someone owed money to him and he didn't have the means to pay it off, and he would say to him, "Look, I'm sorry, but I cannot pay the loan off," then the person would forego his right and forgive the loan. Upon hearing this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say that this person showed mercy towards my slaves, towards my creation, and forgave them his rights. So Allah will say that today I will show forgiveness and mercy to him. I will show mercy to him and I will forgive him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him maghfirah, will grant him mercy, will grant him forgiveness for showing kindness to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu anhu, Hazrat Shah Abu Sa'id Gangohi rahmatullahi, a very great scholar. When he went for tazkiyah, now tazkiyah is when you go to a sheikh kamil, who is well versed in assisting you to be able to purify your nafs, your soul. So it is very important to purify our hearts and attain tazkiyah, purification of the heart. So the students, the ulama, the awam, the people, they would go to the mashayikh and sit in their company and go through this process of self-rectification. So when Shah Abu Sa'id Gangohi rahmatullah alayh, he went to Sheikh for his personal rectification, tazkiyah. So he wasn't told that the first thing you need to do is start doing tasbih, dhikr or nawafil. Rather, the first thing that he was taught in the journey of tasawwuf, of tazkiyah, of self-purification, was how to get rid of takabbur, how to get rid of pride. That when you start to think that you are superior and others are inferior. So that was the beginning step. And then to develop motivation to deal kindly with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So first was takabbur. So you don't start thinking you are superior and others are inferior. And how to develop motivation so that you can begin and you can start to deal kindly with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the third thing was how to control anger. How to control anger. Why? Because anger is what leads to takabbur, to pride. Anger is what leads to a person to not deal kindly with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when a person has anger, because of your anger, you will have pride in you. You will begin to think that you are superior, you have more rights over others, and you will begin to violate the rights of others, sometimes physically, verbally, or in many different manners. So Sheikh Ashraf Ali Khan rahmatullah alayhi, he used to say that the first step of tasawwuf is learning how to control our anger. He says that once a human being learns how to control the anger, then this human being becomes superior to angels. When a human being learns to control their anger, then this human being becomes superior to angels. Why? Because angels, they do not have anger in their temperament. That human beings, we have this emotion of anger. But the angels, they don't have the emotion of anger. It's not in their temperament. So they don't harm other people because they don't have the capability to do harm. And they have no desire to do harm or do any wrong. So Allah has put the emotion of anger in a human being's temperament. So if we control our anger, despite having the capability to use that anger, then because of the fear of Allah and the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we control that, then we become superior to angels. Because we have the capability to do it. While the angels, they have no capability to become angry. Because that's not in them, it's not built in them. Allah gave us emotion to human beings. So when we have the capability to do something wrong, And despite having the capability of something wrong, we refrain from it. Then we become superior to angels. That's why becoming, controlling our anger is something very important and needs to be done. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi with an exalted status, a very, very great scholar. And he had, subhanallah, he was a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And millions of Muslims around the world, they follow his research, his faith. That's how much knowledge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had granted him. Now obviously when a person has that high status, then there are others who are jealous of them as well, or there are people who would badmouth him in his presence and behind his back in his absence as well. Anyhow, one day a person, when Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi was going home, so a person began to follow him and he began to abuse him with various words. So now, before Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi reached the street where he would reach his home, before he reached home or entered the street where his home was, so he stopped and he said to the person that from here our ways will separate, because my home is in this street, my home is near here. So I will stand here and you can abuse me as much as you want. As much as you wish, you can abuse me. Once you are finished, I will go home and you go your way. And I don't want you to remain dissatisfied that you wanted to say something more. So जो कहना है अभी कह दो, मुझे नहीं चाहिए कि आप बाद में कहते रहें कि मुझे ये भी कहना था, ये भी कहना था. Whatever you want to abuse, whatever you want to say to me, say this now and you go your way. So this was the forbearance, the patience, and the wisdom which our mashayikh had. Another incident that Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, he used to stay awake all night in ibadah. It's mentioned in the books of history that for 40 years, how many years? For 40 years, he prayed Fajr with the wudu of Isha Salah. So all night, he would be involved in ibadah. All night, involved in ibadah. And that means he would not sleep at night. He would not sleep at night. So now, during the daytime, in the morning, he would, and after Fajr as well. After Fajr as well, he would not go to sleep. Because he was a businessman. And he was also a religious teacher as well. He was a teacher and also a businessman, a great scholar. So students used to come from all over to study with him. And all the scholars would come to learn from him as well. And he was also running his own business. So his habit was that he would sleep in the afternoon after Dhuhr Salah. I imagine a person who stayed awake all night and then all morning he's been busy with the khidmat of Deen and looking after his business. Now after Dhuhr Salah, it was his time to rest. And his house was on the first floor, his room was there. So now when after Dhuhr Salah, when he went to sleep, someone knocked on the door downstairs. Now everyone knew that was his time to rest and sleep because he was busy in all. It was known in that vicinity in the town. But anyhow, this person knocked on the door. Now imagine the distress that would have caused Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, that he had just laid down to rest and someone knocks on the door knowing that that is time to rest, no one should be there. However, he came downstairs and opened the door. And the person who was there, he said, I want to ask you a religious question. Will you be able to help me? Now, even though Imam Abu Hanifa he had given a time in the morning, that this morning time is my teaching, anybody who has any questions, anything they want, they come at that time. But anyway, this person said, I want to ask a religious question. So he said, fine, what question do you want to ask? Fire away. But the person then said, oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the question I wanted to ask. So Imam Abu Hanifa said, that's fine. When you remember, you can come back and ask. And he goes back upstairs to bed. As soon as he gets down on the bed, he hears a knock on the door. And again he goes down, it's the same person on the door. And he says, I remembered the question when you left. So I knocked on the door, and now that you've come here, Again, I forgotten the question. So now see, this person is testing the patience of Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi. So now, usually if you were us, we would start becoming angry at this moment. But he simply said, it's fine. When you remember your question, come and ask. Again he goes up. As soon as he lies down on his bed, again another knock. And he opened the door, it was the same person. And he says, now I remember the question I wanted to ask. And guess what question he asks? He asks, are human feces sweet or bitter in taste? Pakhana ka maza acha hota hai ya karwa hota hai? Now, if it was us, what would we have done? Taken a baseball bat and just smashed them, or slapped them, or shouted at them. Yes? But Imam Abu Hanifa, rahmatullah alayhi, he didn't show any anger and he answered the question. Then this person said to him, "Oh Imam Sahib, then I beg your forgiveness. Today you have beaten me." So Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi said, how have I beaten? How have I won? So he replied that I was arguing with a friend. And he says, I had a bet and disagreement, and you were saying that Imam Sufyan Thawri rahmatullah alayhi, he is more humble and the most mild-mannered person on the earth. While this person was saying that Imam Abu Hanifa is the most humble and the most mild-mannered person on the earth. So he says, to test you, I thought, David, I will bother you at that time that you usually rest in, and I will ask you a silly question. So purposely, basically, I'm going to annoy him to test and see whether he's going to be patient or become angry. So if you become angry, I will win. And if you still remain humble and mild-mannered, then my friend will win. So he said that you have defeated me, and I have not seen a person who is more humble on this earth and the one who has more control over his anger than you. So these were our mashayikh or kabirin. That even though people tried to get them angry, but they had learned to control the anger. And this is what people used to go and sit in the company of the mashayikh kamil, and they would learn these etiquettes of how to control the anger and how to control our emotions, how to control our greed, our lust, how to control our love for this dunya, how to control hasad, jealousy, all these illnesses of the heart. We need to go to the ulama and the scholars, mashayikh kamil, and sit in their company and learn how to do this. So in a hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is mentioned, he used to make this dua. Amazing dua. He would say, Allahumma aghnini bil ilm. That, Ya Allah, grant me ghina, independence, being carefree, independence through knowledge. Allahumma aghnini bil ilm. Or other way you could translate is that, Ya Allah, enrich me through knowledge. Wa zayyinni bil hilm. And Ya Allah, adorn me with mild temperance. Ya Allah, adorn me with mild temperance, hilm. And this hilm was a quality of the Anbiya alayhi wassalatu wassalam. And we see the people, they used to hurl, abuse, and they used to do so many things to the Anbiya alayhi wassalatu wassalam. But yet, they observed patience. They never got angry, or even if they got angry, then it was in the right manner, in the right response. And the dua continues, وَأَكْرِمْنِي بِالتَّقْوَى. And Ya Allah, grant me honor through taqwa. وَجَمِّلْنِي بِالْعَافِيَةِ. And Ya Allah, beautify me with afiyah. Afiyah is goodness in every aspect. So Allahumma aghnini bil-ilm, وَزَيِّنِّي بِالْحِلْمِ, وَأَكْرِمْنِي بِالتَّقْوَى, وَجَمِّلْنِي بِالْعَافِيَةِ. So when a person is mild-tempered, then this brings beauty and adornment and husn in a person's personality. Then people want to be around you. So the first step towards self-purification is controlling one's anger. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not become angry. Why? Because this not becoming angry is one of the best ways to avoid the wrath and the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. Allah